getting a lot of bad reception where I'm at today, which is weird. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. We have about 16 people on right now, and I am broadcasting this live also on our YouTube channel. If you've not been on our YouTube channel, it is called The Cream Real Estate Investors. It's about 4,500 subscribers right now. We're really looking to provide solid content on YouTube. I really like YouTube personally. I go to YouTube more for anything. And we will be live streaming, so make sure you check out our YouTube channel. And today, if you're just joining us, we're getting into the top 3 mistakes that new investors make. And as I already mentioned to everybody who's watching on Instagram, what I'm going to share with you goes against the grain a little bit, and it goes against what a lot of quote-unquote gurus and mentors are talking about. But what I'm going to be sharing as far as what I feel are the top 3 mistakes new investors make is the absolute truth, and it comes from years of experience and years of coaching people. And so we can jump right in. RJ, I appreciate your feedback on every bullet point that I got here. But to start things off, and I think also, by the way, the third one that I share, I think is the most contradictory. So I'll save that one to the end. Make sure you stick around to the end of the live for the top 3 mistakes new investors make. So the first one, RJ, is thinking in terms of competition rather than collaboration. And I see this quite a bit with new investors because there's an element of ego that comes with anybody who wants to be successful, whether it be sales, whether it be any new business venture. Obviously, you want to be successful. And I think we're trained, conditioned, and programmed to think in terms of, hey, if you're in the same business, you're the competition. I need to beat you. What I have found in years of doing real estate is collaboration is going to get us a lot farther, a lot faster, simply because us as real estate investors and us in the real estate investing community, we're all on different levels and we're all doing different things. For instance, sometimes you're buying, sometimes you're selling, sometimes you have inventory to sell, sometimes you need inventory. And somebody that you could be potentially looking at as competition, maybe they're buying when you got something to sell. Maybe they're selling when you need something to buy. That's where the collaboration comes into play. It's not so much of beating the other person. It's more so getting to know them. And even if you clash personality-wise, it's still good to be on good terms with anyone else who's doing real estate in your market. Because of that reason, maybe they are buying when you're selling and vice versa, and still understand their buying model. So, RJ, what comes up for you as far as people who are thinking in terms of competition instead of collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the bullseye. It's you can't have small thinking even when you're getting started. You can't have small thinking. And now we've been into this 10 plus years deep. Started earlier than me, so the collaboration always wins because there's always something that you need. I don't care if you have 4,000 properties or one. There's value that you won't know that the other person has unless you start to have a conversation, collaboration in mind, and talk to them about what it is that they're kind of struggling with. Obviously, it's going to be different at that level, but there's still a way that that person can add value to you. For example, when you're starting out, you probably have a lot more time on your hands. Excuse me, I had a call. The person that is at that level might have a lot more time than the person that doesn't. But there could be an exchange of value whenever I'm talking to a lot of new people in the game. They're hustling super hard. They're trying to get deals all the time. There's probably deals that they're getting in front of that you're not getting in front of. That's always going to happen. There's just deals that you're never going to get. It's just that's the bottom line. So wouldn't it be at the level that 100,000 properties deep, whatever, wouldn't it be beneficial to you to just have a conversation, provide some value to that person, and there might be a deal that you didn't spend any marketing on that they could just send to you, or if that person is, super hungry, wants to get into the game and they want to learn, well, at that level, you might have a position open for them.
Absolutely. One of the best things. Sorry, broke up a little bit there, RJ. You were saying you might have a position available and somebody in your network might be able to help fill that position.
Yeah. So, for example, like we're always looking for the best sales guys and gals. It's an open position all the time because they call that. There's a good book out there called Top Grading, right? You want to always be recruiting top talent into your organization, and it might be salespeople, it might be administrative, it might be operations, it might be construction management. So there's a level of collaboration that's going to be needed from you. Like remove the ego from your vocabulary and your being, because that doesn't really serve you. Use your ego for confidence, self-confidence, but don't use it to knock other people down, right? It's just not going to serve you guys. I talk about this in my book. If you want a free copy of that, go to my bio. But the thing is, like, there's always a way to collaborate. That person, even being new, might have a connection that could serve you, right? There might be somebody in their family that's, there's a title person, a loan officer. You don't know unless you start talking to them like a human being and make a friend. And there might be an opportunity for you to add value to them. So, one of the things that we have available is we have mentorship available, right? But if you're all about competition and you're holding your cards so tight that you can't add value to that person, they will never know. So that's one of the mistakes we've learned. That mistake. I mean, earlier on in our career, we thought we got to be better than the other home buyer. Blah blah blah. Like, no, there's plenty of properties out there. You can't have them all. It's just it don't matter if you have 100 people in your organization or you have 5 or 2 or just yourself. There's always going to be a property that just slips through the cracks. The seller is not going to like you. They're going to like Joe or Jill or whoever it is. So, anyways, collaboration over competition is a really, really good lesson. Really good lesson.
Another thing, also with other investors, there's somebody in our network who just put himself out there. He's looking to lend money, right? So if somebody's in real estate, that means they understand real estate. And if they're in your same market, it's not competition. That could be a potential JV partner or private lender. We get hit up all the time on where can I raise private money? Well, it's probably going to come from somebody in your network. So if you look at them as competition, you'll never have the opportunity to do business with them. But somebody in your network, somebody who's familiar with your market, is really the best lender because they're going to be able to underwrite your deal really quickly and effectively. It's good to have a relationship. So yeah, I like that idea. Not only can you build your team from people in your network by collaborating, but you can raise money and then you can sell deals and also buy deals. That is what we are here to do as real estate investors. Moving into number 2, and I'm saving the best for last, everybody. Number 3 is probably the most controversial or contradictory mistake that I see investors making, and it's contradictory to what we see online every single day. We're constantly seeing a barrage of entrepreneurship and millionaire type of jargon videos and stuff like that. So stick around for number 3. But number 2 is focusing on the wrong stuff. So let me be specific. As business owners, I don't care what type of business it is, whether it's a real estate investment company, a lemonade stand, a flower shop, or an auto mechanic shop. Us as entrepreneurs, we're constantly living in 2 different worlds. The first world is the world of cleanup. Whenever there's a sale being made, there needs to be fulfillment. There's going to be mistakes that happen. There's paperwork that needs to get filed. If you're doing marketing campaigns, you got to work out your data lists. You got to do the administrative work. You got to open the mail. You got to scan the bills. You got to write checks. You got to, it's just the day-to-day. We call it the muck, right? It's not inspiring work, but it absolutely needs to happen. That's the first world we live in as entrepreneurs and business owners. It's pretty much the work that we say, oh, I didn't sign up for this. Well, you're right. You didn't sign up for it because it's not glamorous and it's not sexy, but it's absolutely essential. The second world we live in as entrepreneurs is the inspiring world, is the reason we signed up for this business, is the reason we started our own venture. It's the creative world. And that's where we get to express our creativity. We get to launch new marketing campaigns. We get to attract new leads, figure out ways to, improve and innovate and, get better. So when we are starting a business, new real estate investors tend to find themselves when they're first starting out, they're all in that creative world and it's awesome. Things feel great. Then you start creating new leads and actually closing some deals, and you find yourself in the first world, which is the muck. You find yourself in the cleanup. And then you basically live in the muck and live in the cleanup for so long, you start to mistake the cleanup for productivity. But productivity comes from the creative side. And then you live in the muck for so long and you get so good at just constantly putting fires out and cleaning things up, you start to reward yourself and your team for putting out fires, and you end up creating a culture of putting fires out constantly. And you get away from that creative and that innovative space. So a big mistake that new investors make is they find themselves in the muck, which is inevitable and it is going to be essential, but they never work their way back to the reason they started this business, which is growth, innovation, and creativity. RJ, feedback.
This takes a lot of hard work. The hard work sometimes doesn't, it doesn't feel good when you're doing it, but there's opportunity in that hard work. One is, you're going to be able to capture whatever it is that you're doing so that then you can delegate it, to somebody that likes doing what you're doing. Accounting, opening up bills, administrative, sales, construction. So then you can focus on what it is that your most important task is, which is, growing the business,